Hi everyone, welcome back to Rochelle's Speech Room. Today I thought we could talk a little bit about letters and their sounds. Often when I'm working with children who have literacy problems and provide work for them to do at home, their parents report to me that they're really unsure about the sounds that they should be saying when they're doing the work. Do we use the letter names or do we use the sounds, and what are those sounds? So recent theory looking into how children learn to read and to spell tells us that using something called synthetic phonics, systematic synthetic phonics, is the best approach to teaching our children these skills. And the reason for this is it works from the sound that we say up to the letters and then the spellings. So we're working from what we call a bottom up to the top. So phonics is where we link the sounds in our speech to the letters that we use to represent them on a page, because basically the letters are really just a code. They're a way of representing what you actually say. So early on we don't, particularly in speech therapy, we would tend not to teach letter names. Letter names are certainly useful as time goes by, but in the first stages we want to teach just the sound that is represented with each of the letters that we see. And the reason we do this is that by teaching letter names, sometimes it can lead to quite a bit of confusion for the children. So for example, if I show them the letter C and say, well, what sound is this? They'll often go C, S. Or if I show them the letter Y and I say, what sound is this? They'll go Y, Y. So they're using the name of the letter as their cue. And this is where we do get quite a bit of confusion in their reading and also their spelling. So whilst we teach letter names down the track, and they're certainly useful, and we use them all the time as adults when we're spelling, that's because we already understand the code and what it represents. Reading and spelling are not skills that are innate to us. So an innate skill would be something like walking or talking for most children. It kind of just happens. That's the way we're wired. But we're not really wired for reading and for spelling. That is a skill. And just like any other skill, learning to drive a car, learning to play tennis, learning how to cook, those are skills and you have to learn how to do them. So if we think about our alphabet, we know that our alphabet in English has 26 letters. But when we speak, we actually speak with 44 different sounds, which leads us to a little bit of a dilemma as to how do we represent those 44 sounds using only 26 letters of the alphabet. And in actual fact, there are over 200 ways to represent those 44 sounds, which is where things start to become very confusing for our children. So what we do is to start with, we teach them that something that's often referred to as the initial code. And this initial code is where we use a single letter to represent a single sound. As the children get more and more adept at learning those single letters and sounds, then we can move on to teaching them when we combine letters to make sounds as well. So I thought what we'd do today is go through the single letters of the alphabet, as well as a couple of letter combinations that are often taught quite early on, so that our children, when we're working with them, we know exactly what the sounds are and we can be prompting them along. So let's have a look now at the single letters and a couple of letter combinations and the sounds that they represent. Okay, so let's have a look at the sounds that we say. So we have A, B, K, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, Ks, y, z. And we have some two-letter sounds as well. Sh, ch, or z, depending on the word that it's in. So as in thumb or bath, but when it's in this or brother. This is a really tricky sound because it's often taught as ing with the I at the front, but this is actually because we can have it with an A like rang, or we can have it with an O like long, or a U as in lung. So this sound is actually and then when there would be the vowel in front of it. So these are lots of our different sounds. Hopefully that will give you something to have a think about if you're trying to help your child with their reading and their spelling at the moment. Please come back, have another look, and check out the sounds that you may need. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.